Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, alright. What's going on, everyone? Goddrifter here, and welcome back to the live stream for 95.5. Now, you're wondering what happened last time. Well, I wasn't able to go through the rest of the cars because around that time it would have been fixing in literally 3 hours. And so today we're going to continue on with the theme of cars from the 2000s. So, and also for those that are wondering, this is actually going to hurt me very much, but another car is going to be taken out of that list, and that will be this, the Cara 2, or also known as the 8th Gen Mark II. The reason being is because figuratively and literally I looked up the years of said vehicle. Even though the car, they see the 8th Gen was made around the 2000s, unfortunately, around the time of said 2000s, the 9th Gen came out in 2000. So, unfortunately, this will not count. So, for those that are big Mark II fans, unfortunately, unfortunately it's not its time yet. So, yeah, previous episode we actually start off good. We end up using the IS300 as the first vehicle, and then you went to the RX-8. Then we got into the E46, the Solstice, the G35, the 350Z, the SC300, the um, second gen WRX, um, the what else was there? The I think I think the Mark, not Mark, I think the Chaser as well. Actually, let me check the Chaser's years because I actually am curious about that. And I used the wrong website. Okay. No, I used the wrong browser. Uh, Give me a moment. I just need to check real quick. Alright, I just did my Alright, I just took a quick look, and yes, the burn GM still counts. I think this is actually the last variant of the Chaser that we gotten in entire the world, be even. So, uh, here's that. Anyways, burn JDM, um, is what we used. The second last vehicle that we used last live stream was this, the Royal, and then last but not least, we used the Eva MR, which was the final vehicle that we used in the last live stream. So, we're going to continue on with the first car being the Horizon GT4, aka the Skyline R34 GTR V-Spec, and I will count this as the V-Spec 2 model from 2002. Reason being is because even though yes the car came out in 1999, it was still selling well in the 2000s, and it got popular even. So there's that. Basically, along with that, the RX-7, It's gonna be another one of those vehicles where, even though, yeah, the car came out in 1993. Right, yeah, 1993. And no, wait, no, 1992. My mistake, guys. 1992 all the way to 2002. So the car was still selling, except, well, not in the U.S. And due to the fact that this is the right-hand drive model, I would suggest that this would be the Spirit R, which would have been a 2002 model instead of a 19 instead of like the 1999 model. But still, either way, and then you got the M3, the Challenger, the Evo, the CLK 500, the third generation WRX, which, fun fact, this came around 2007 for some reason. I don't know if it's just me, but I do like the last, second gen's last model was around 2005, 2006, and end of 2007, and then this came in. So there's that. Anyways, the Unicorn, I do believe it's the same chassis. Well, not the same chassis, but actually no. I don't think I would count the Unicorn as well, due to the fact that there was a WC33 and there's the WC34. And keep in mind, it's literally this car, but difference being that it is difference between that is all-wheel drive and has an RB26. That's basically it. And it's a wagon, so there's that. Kitchener, I will count this as an NA2 since that was the face of the model. Um, I think this also applies to the same thing as the Skyline from before, but this one very pretty much NA 2001, 2002 for the GTR, and 2005 for the Z-Tune Nismo. So there's that. Corvette, obviously this is a 2000s icon. Um, the Dodge Viper, easily 2000s, easily a most recognizable 2000s car. Um, Circuit RS, 2000s. Um, and I think like the last four is the GTR, G70Z, the RA, and the M5. So I think that's about it, um, vehicle wise. So we should be good from here. Um, and before I do anything else, let me change a couple of things for the most part. Um, Actually, you know what? I think I'll stick with this since Top Secret was literally booming around the 2000s. So, it should be fine. Um, anyways, so basically, this, before I do anything else, okay. All right. I'm going to put that. Gonna have that as a pinned comment, so that way you guys should be able to join in. And all you guys need to do is be an American server, and you should be fine. And don't worry, for those that are wondering, like, okay, what about the comments? Um, Basically, the comments will be showing up on the iPad as well as everything else on my one of my devices as well. So yeah, we should be okay. So obviously, um, track it just depends. Target traction, any driftings on time attack is off. Clipping points, collisions, clipping points, collisions, and voting is on. Night mode is off. Shading, I'm going to put this by default since um not gonna mess with that. The only time I'll mess with it if we're in Red Rock. So there's that. And then cross-platform multiplayer is also on, and password is usually off. So without any further ado, let's get started. Hmm. All right. Now, in terms of the coming days, one of these days I will not be streaming at all. So, and the reason being is because of TennoCon. Well, as I'm wondering, what the heck is TennoCon? Well, quite simple, really. Well, as I've played or actually have heard of Warframe, you would know that there are these things called TennoCons. And TennoCons are normally held in, well, usually held in Twitch. And the thing is, I actually need those awards because if anything, it gives me like Warframes that I've yet to actually get. But this time, we were unfortunately going to be receiving a Titania Prime, even though like half, if not 98% of the player population actually has Titania Prime. So yeah, that's basically a big problem there. So yeah, and I say 98% for a reason because one half has Titania, the other half is Titania Prime, and then uh, the majority of them just have both. So yeah, basically things like that is usually what happens for the most part. Alright. Alright. So that is my practice round. And yeah, it's basically for the most part this is gonna be a very interesting live stream, that's for sure. And also, I actually have a challenge for Goddrifter247 seven players, basically. Um, Not for the players, for the most part. I probably have like a gathering of people in the party, so more than likely this is gonna be an interesting thing to actually go for. Uh, hmm. Alright, so I'm thinking. Hmm. Alright, I think of doing West Coast Arena next, either or East Toge. Um, I'm gonna go with East Toge for the most part. Excuse me. I didn't meant to do that. Give me a moment. Well, I actually had a it's time to turn on the display. All right. So basically, I think around this time, so like literally in 11 minutes, don't talk about basically, for those who are new to the channel, hello, I'm known as Goddrifter247sun Productions. I usually do car games like Car X, Need for Speed, The Crew 2, some GTA, uh, some Gran Turismo, and I also am a Let's Player as well. Uh, current Let's Plays are the current Let's Plays are Resident Evil HD Remaster, um, Mortal Kombat X, and Goddrifter2 Rage Burst. So for the most part, this is gonna be one of those cases where um, things are gonna get very interesting. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. Alright, there we go. Hmm. Okay, so in terms of vehicles, and in terms of the basically I do have a racing cliche for you guys and a vehicle cliche for you guys, but this is actually gonna be a really interesting thing that I'm going to talk about. And although this is, this isn't a, yes, this is a child game in a nutshell. This is a game that my dad introduced me to. So yeah, of all games, I'm going to talk about what my dad introduced me to, because due to the fact that yesterday was Father's Day, I am indeed going to tell you guys about the game, actually, the game that he introduced me to when I was, I'm not kid, I say this, when I was a kid. And keep in mind, around that time, keep in mind, I grew up in the 2000s. So, around that time, the most popular, I would say the most popular systems around that time were, I'm not joking when I say this, the basically the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 3, the Xbox, and the Xbox 360. And yeah, the Nintendo products, then you can also count GameCube and Wii into that list as well. So, so if when I say that we're going to talk old school, we're talking freaking old school. Like we're talking games. We're talking about a game that came out around the 1990s. Like we're talking around Super Nintendo type era of games, basically. And for those wondering, yes, my dad owned a Super Nintendo. Originally owned an Atari 2600. Then he owned a Super Nintendo, and I think that's about it in terms of that and the N64. Well, that's usually about it. But yeah, it was weird for the most part. Well, then again, it's either that or I talk about another game I played with the PS2 when I was a kid. I did have a lot of PS2 games when I was a kid, so don't blame me on on that one for the most part. Um, Alright, so the next car, we're going with the FDRX7. Reason being, they said, even though the car is from 1992 and in production in 2002, but it was only for the Australian and let's say for the Australian, New Zealand, and Japan. But 2002 was Japan only, so excuse me. There's that. Anyway, without further ado, let's go back to not go back to the lobby, obviously. Um, hmm. Oh crap! I forgot to mess with the shading. Shoot. Then again, it is morning, so I don't blame you guys if you're just getting up and then you just see a notification of my live stream going up, and it's like, ah, God, do I really gotta? Don't worry. If you want to sleep in, just sleep in. Well, not sleep in right now because it's Monday. You guys, for those that are in school, keep on studying. But those that are not in school and it's your day off, as well as well, not. Wait, what am I saying? It's the summer. You can sleep in. Shady change. Morning clear to 11 a.m. Okay. Okay, there we go. Alright. Got the brapping noise. My god. That didn't sound right. Oh my god. Alright, so in around 15 seconds, I'm gonna talk about the first thing of the day, which is obviously a racing cliche, and this is actually a real cliche if you don't want, if you know, if you mind realism. So today, so today's racing cliche, we're going to be talking about the 50 mile an hour basically the 250 mile an hour struggle. Now, for those that are wondering what the heck's a 250 mile an hour struggle, it's essentially when the car is exceeding to literally more than 250 miles an hour, 260, 270, even like around the 300 mark. Wait, is that what I'm talking about? Nah, actually no, never mind. Forget that. So the real subject is figuratively and literally shortcuts. I freaking kid you not, shortcuts. Now, usually when it comes to any sort of racing game, usually we'll find shortcuts in any sort of way in most racing games. But due to recent games being like, oh yeah, if you see a shortcut, use it. As long as you're going to be close to one of the checkpoints, you should be good. Which that's unfortunate due to the fact that figuratively and literally, the majority of the games that many people played had shortcuts, but it also had checkpoints, which is very unfortunate due to the fact that the racing games of the early, mid, and late 2000s didn't do this, as well as the early 2010s didn't do this. So the moment that I see that in order to actually win a race, you have to go by full-on checkpoints, then there is a bit of a problem. Now, in terms of, well, it's basically in terms of real life situations where shortcuts are usually a thing, well, that doesn't happen quite often. Well, obviously because half the time when people street race, it's normally like a full-on drag race or a full-on tailgate run. There were no such thing as shortcuts around that time. But usually when it comes to things like racing game-wise, then that makes a lot of sense. And that sense usually including having tracks with a whole bunch of shortcuts attached to them. Now, actually, there are a couple of games that actually is like, oh yeah, use shortcuts to take an advantage. But there are also some games that literally shortcuts is usually your best friend in terms of something like this. In fact, they even encourage using shortcuts during the race. And this is the first game that actually does this as a good example. Any of the Midnight Club games will tell you that using shortcuts is not a bad thing. It's just that if you took a bad shortcut, you took a bad shortcut. It's usually bread and butter from there. Now, this is a really good example. In Midnight Club 3, there is a shortcut that I'm not going to say this uses and wait, actually that's a wrong shortcut. I think, yeah, Midnight Club LA has a really good shortcut for example. There is a shortcut where you can take 3 routes to this. There is a normal route, a short route, and then there's a shorter route. And the shorter route actually has you going through the corner, and it actually has you, and even lets you even count this as a shortcut for some reason. And you also get the what's that called? And you also get the shoot, what's that called? Actually, yeah, even unless you get to the checkpoint, which honestly I wasn't mad about that. It was the fact that, my God, that was a very difficult race to go for because of how off-putting these shortcuts were. Needs to be Carbon is also a good example of using shortcuts in a racing game. And you guys probably wait, what do you mean by needs to be Carbon? Well, needs to be Carbon has a crew member known as the Scout. The Scout normally looks for and navigates shortcuts for you, in case you're actually going to, in case you're in a lap race. Well, unless you're in a sprint race, then the Scouts are normally not useful at all. In fact, it actually begs different on how useful that sort of crew member is without any sort of, well, problem. Now, and heck, even the modern games like the Crew and the Crew 2 actually has these small little shortcuts. Now, unfortunately, the fact that there are coming of years of, you know, going through the actual game without any sort of issue while they're still at it, which basically says it all about Avatars, the Crew and the Crew 2. And not to mention, they've been patching shortcuts lately, so whoops. Moving on. Um, huh. Interesting. But yeah, another game that actually has some really good shortcuts. It's freaking Burnout. Of all the games that I say has the best shortcuts, it probably had to be Burnout Revenge. And they have and Burnout Revenge usually it's the type of game where you crash everything to win. But unless it's a race, then you should have no problems. Like no joke. Like you shouldn't have any problems. Like don't worry, if you're in the race, you're good. But still, nonetheless, it is one of those games where basically timing is key, and you have to find that shortcut before someone else did. Someone else does. Now, I know like shortcuts are usually frowned upon in terms of online racing, but when it comes to the online racing community, usually they fall into two of these categories. They either fall into the well, no, it's not scratch that. They fall into three categories. They either the it is either the drifting group, the drag group, or the circuit group, and all three of them don't care about shortcuts. Well, except for the circuit racer group. Like the moment they see you using a full-on shortcut, they berated you until like, yeah, no, forget you. You're not legit. And I was like, first and foremost, I grew up with arcade games. Thank you very much. And secondly, how am I supposed to know that was a shortcut? Like it's part of the track, right? Like, god damn. But yeah, nonetheless, it's one of those cases where is it if the game got shortcuts, you better use them because you never know what's gonna happen. Anyway, so the pros and cons of having shortcuts in racing games. Um, the pros is the fact that um, figuratively and literally, um, it basically you're discovering more parts of the track the more you race. And normally you're trying to find the shortest way around, even if you're doing your absolute best of actually said uh, go for said time. Uh, and not to mention, these shortcuts can be beneficial for players that are like not trying to go for the harder route, but they want to go for the easier route. And the last and the last one being that it is probably one of the funnest thing to do when you're doing the race. The cons, on the other hand, is the fact that some of these shortcuts might be bad shortcuts. Like Need for Speed Most Wanted's tunnel shortcut, for example. It just turned out to be a full-on long cut versus going for a little shortcut. And that'll be it for you future racing game developers that wanted to make their own racing games, if you want to add shortcuts, just be sure that you don't add checkpoints along with it, so that way you'll know what's going on. Well, in a circuit race, of course, but with if you're going for a sprint race, then be sure to have checkpoints because you never know what's going to happen. Okay. My goodness. Oh snap. Okay. Okay, dude just left. God dang it. Alright. Time to move on to the next vehicle. Oh, goodness. I think like the next thing I'm probably gonna do is, well, 600 cars. Cause, I mean, 2000 cars maybe a whole lot, but at least I know which car it is. Um, the six cylinders on the other hand, there are a lot of cars that have 6 cylinders in this game specifically. Alright, so up next it is my BMW M3. Um, yeah, BMW M3 E92, and oh, okay, we're good. This is um, replace those. By chance, what's the G that I find this game? It is the Equator D. Um, and that car was added at least 2 updates ago, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's a vehicle that um basically not G5 came around. Yeah, basically it was on one. I think it was on one. It was an update that had this car along with many others. Had a new law. That's why I'm asking. Okay, so yeah, the Equator D is class 3. It's right next to the Interceptor, and it's basically on top of the Piranha 8, no Piranha X, no, Piranha X, which is a 350Z. My goodness. Okay, next vehicle, like I said, it's going to be the M3. But before I even do anything any further, let's see. Hmm. Oh yeah, this is definitely it's gonna be a missile fighter. That's my M3, but not gonna go for that. I'm gonna go for a little more maybe interesting body kit. Where's the? Okay, there we go. I was about to say, where's the My goodness. All right. Hmm. I think we're good from here. All right. Hmm. I think Sen actually works pretty well. Um, actually, speaking of which, I actually need to use a different There we go. I was like, man, I need to use a different livery set. Hmm. Because what happens when you have full-on stick drift, things like this usually happens. My goodness. Alright, and there you go. Yeah, hologram usually works sometimes. Right. Okay, so in terms of what this bike's based on, I had no freaking clue. Like, I legit had no clue. Um, I know which one it is. This is based off of. Well, it's quite obvious. You have watched Formula D. You probably would know what this bike it is. Well, do not know. This is the Aero Fighter kit that um someone built up. But then again, who knows? And yeah, okay, yeah, this is a voice gender kit, if anything. Um, anyways, time to move time to move on. So yeah, time to use the M3, aka the E92. Now, the E92, from what I recalled, is a very interesting take on the M3 because unlike the for the love of Star Connection. Oh, don't tell me everyone's using West Coast Arena. Oh, for the love of ugh. Alright, we're going to Springstone. What? Oh, come on now. This is weird. This is legit weird. Like, what the heck's going on? Ugh. I mean, the servers are doing fine like a couple of minutes ago. I don't know what happened. Hmm. Let me do this. Cause. Hmm. Oh, that's report. Okay. Servers. Man, only South Americans up? What the heck? Ah, great. Well, this is embarrassing. Huh. Then again, I probably need to change the wheels anyway. Alright. Alright. So that everything is now. Never mind. How in the world? What the heck going on with the server? Oh my god. Ugh. Unknown error. Start a connection. What the heck is going on here, game? Ugh. Alright. I might as well just do this drifting thing myself since I'm not trying to waste you guys' time. Uh, but the fact that this is it ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm just gonna drift the E92 around Red Rock, cause why the heck not? I had to do Red Rock anyway, so um, there's that. Now, in terms of the E92, the E90 series of BMW 3 series, these cars are notorious, and I mean notorious for. Though it has a V8, yes, it's unreliable because, well, one, it's a BMW. Usually, the only time you see a BMW is the fact that you usually see them in basically in a freeway somewhere, parked on the side. But man, it is weird how the servers are. The servers was fine like a couple of minutes ago. I don't know what happened. Ay, ay, ay. Honestly, doing maintenance, then I would understand, but I didn't see anything in I didn't see anything in the Discord about it being having as maintenance, but I probably to stream something else for the time being, right after this, because normally I wouldn't be fed up about something that happened to the serve, but due to the fact, but just the fact that it was working literally a couple of minutes before that happened, I was honestly confused. But yeah, basically the reason, yeah, it's very, yeah, the V8 and the BMW M3s are very unreliable. But the reason why I like those in the first place is because of one thing and one thing only. These are the same 3 liter. These are the same 4-liter V8s that were in the BMW 550i's. And for those wondering, yes, the 550i's is usually your bread and butter V8 power sedan. Not the M5s though. That's the one with the V10s. You know, we're talking 2000s here, and it's still. I'm guessing that's why no one's joining in. Um, Yeah, I probably had to like stream something else for the time being. Let me check what's happening on Discord because I honestly have no clue what's going on. Uh, dirty. No, that's not it. Okay. Okay, so the servers are down. Oh, great. Well, I really want to continue on, but the server, since the servers are down, I can't do anything about it. So I probably will check and see why I can actually stream while these servers are all the servers are down. So I know it's like a very short live stream, but yeah, I'll say like, you know what? I probably will count this as not a continuation, but it's probably like the end of part two because I really want to keep on drifting around with these. Actually, no, I'll not give up. If there's one thing I know what to do. Never give up, because that's the last thing you needed. So, for the most part, I'm not gonna give up because the servers are down. The only time I'll ever give up is if I wanted to. I'm not gonna let these servers being down being the reason why I quit. Nah, that mess. My God. All right. So, I think the training one should work out perfectly. Even though I'll be drifting by myself, at least I don't mind actually, you know, having this happen. Actually, let me type in the chat real quick. Says servers are down, unfortunately. Um, so it's not just PC, but everyone else is actually having some server issues. Hmm. Yeah, it looks like everyone has the same problem. So, unfortunately, unfortunately, the fact that servers are down, uh, I gotta do something at least. So, and now there's a chopper just flying by, and I already know it's too early to live stream. I mean, come on now, end up getting out of bed around 5:50, had my shake around 6, and now it's 7:52, and apparently the servers are down. So, oh, speaking of servers being down, time to talk about today's vehicle history. Now, in terms of this vehicle history, we're gonna take a look at one of Chevrolet's finest creations. It is a it is more like the subcompact of the subcompact of the Chevrolet era. In fact, you can say that this was the Cobalt SS before the Cobalt SS. So today's vehicle history, we're going to be taking a look at the Chevrolet Nova. Chevrolet Novas first came around around the late 50s with mediocre results. As in, yes, they have the Bel Air and they have the Biscayne. Unfortunately, due to the fact that the Bel Air, a vehicle that is the Nova, which usually is second to none in terms of what kind of vehicles they were, usually didn't do so well. And it was until around the second generation Nova, which was from 1964 all the way to 1967, where basically how it actually has a very popular era, but at the same time just keep things on ahead. But at the same time, it was probably the most interesting car of them all, because normally they'll have a 250 turbojet motor as well as a first ever 350 cubic inch V8 which for those wondering, that is a is a 5.7 liter V8, which is freaking huge around that time. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. But yeah, either way, it's more likely the vehicles themselves are more than. It's not the fact that it's more than they can handle, it's the fact that like cars like that usually are the type that are normally uh, normally associated themselves to drag racing. In fact, it was so popular that Chris Holster Concepts actually took one, swapped an LS, and made it so it has 600 horsepower and called it a day. Rest on modding the absolute mess out of it. Now, this is where things get spicy. We're going to be talking about the third generation Nova, which came around 1968 all the way to 1974. So, more than likely the fact that, well, quite obviously, it's quite obvious that, that the Nova, along with the Impala and the Chevelle, were actually were competing with Ford's Galaxy, Ford's Galaxy, Ford's Maverick, and as well as Ford's Gran Torino. Unfortunately, due to the fact that that Ford brought in the Ford Mustang around 1965, they had nothing to go up against. So they decided to bring out the Nova and basically they bring out the Camaro and it's like, oh yeah, the Nova is totally gonna be the competitor for the Mustang. Now they actually end up carrying a new vehicle since that car, so the Nova's already a subcompact car in the first place. But keep in mind, this was the 60s, the time where literally veterans are going in after not World War II. Veterans are coming in after the Cold War. There were actually a lot of people around that time were actually drag racing their muscle cars and watching NASCAR on Sunday and buys a car on Monday. Usually the bread and butter of the 1960s. And not to mention due to the fact that these type of vehicles are not only the reason why the muscle car era is still there to this day. Now the third generation Novas usually came with a naturally aspirated 5.7 liter V8, or aka the 350 cubic inch V8. Well, basically known as a 350. Yeah, can't speak today. Also known as the 350 cubic inch small block Chevy. And for those that were wondering, okay, that was the small block. What was the big block? Have heard of 454? Yeah. Basically, that is literally the Texas of motors. Basically, normally when it comes to the small block Chevys, they're 5.7. Let's see, they're 5.7 liter with the 454. Basically around this, the thing of the 426, but bigger. Because, well, I was wondering, that mess is an 8 liter V8. Wait, no, actually, scratch that. It wasn't 8 liter. It was a. I'd say it was a 7. It's either 7.5 or 7.7 liter engine, because dear Lord, 454 is huge. And the reason why, most likely the reason why I'm mistaking that by accident, because there is a car that had a bigger engine than the 454, and its name is Continental. But yeah, back to the Nova. The Nova did pretty well in terms of sales, and dear Lord, it's a lot more popular with drag racing than we ever thought it could. In fact, that car has been in many movies to the point where you can probably spotted it right off the bat. Like example, Born to Race's, yeah, Born to Race, Silver Nova. There's also the most popular drag racing vehicle of all time, the Murder Nova, which is a blacked out 68 Nova. There's also Ladies Nova. It's basically Mia's Nova from Fast 9. Then there's also um, the Green Nova that is featured in the Easy A's music video, Boys in the Hood. I think, I don't know. It was mentioned. That's one thing for sure. And like I said, there's also Chris Holster's concept Chevy Nova, and I think that's about it. Now, in terms of I was thinking, wait, how many generations are there? Well, I was already done with talking about the second generation and the first generation. Now we have to look at the most underrated generation, which that would be the fourth generation. Now the fourth generation came around around 1995, which around that time is when the gas crisis happened, which is quite unfortunate because, well, for one, it is by far the saddest part of car culture, car culture, which is gas crisis. Um, in fact, a lot of cars from the 70s drink too much gas to the point where they were running out, and that is saying something. Like, and not to mention, in order to compete against the Japanese cars around that time, aka the Datsun 280Z, the Honda Civics, the Toyota Celicas, they kind of had a downside. Chevrolet, Ford, and many, as well as many other companies had to downsize their cars, which included the Nova. Now, the Nova came in two different variants. Well, three if you count the Nova wagon, but yeah, there's like two variants of it. There's the two-door model, and then there's the four-door model. Now, what would I do if I have the fourth generation model? Well, to put it simply, it'll be instead of actually having the original V8 on the hood, because I do believe that's still available around that time. I would put in a 4.8 liter Vortec motor from a Chevy Tahoe, and had supercharged it, making around a respectable 450 horsepower. I mean, even though yes, the rest of the mod, it still works. But yeah, other than that, it would have been an interesting thing to go for, along with a T50. It's along with a T66 trans, basically transmission for the most part. And I think that would have been about it. So that is, and not been, yeah, unfortunately, it discontinued around before 1990. In conclusion, the Chevrolet Nova was a car that came around in the late 50s and ended around the late 80s. It was a car that actually have been around since then, and a lot of people are going for it these days. And due to the fact that third gen Novas are really popular, it is really difficult to actually find one for used car prices wise. So that's basically about it. Yeah, it looks like the servers are down. Alright. So the next vehicle will be the Subaru Dark STI. Actually, you know what? Ah, good. This is gonna be a three. You know, I think I'll count this as completed because I think at this point it's asked me too much. So yeah, already gone done through with the Skyline, the RX-7, the M3, and the Challenger. Um, I think yeah. Unfortunately, I might not be able to talk about the um, game that actually that my father actually um that my father actually introduced me to. So I think I think I'll probably stream another Goddrifter Let's Play episode because due to the fact that servers are completely down, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, the servers are down. That was a big mistake. I need to check. Should have checked before I do anything else. But yeah, servers are completely down this one, except for South America, because I don't know why. Anyway, that'll be it for now. You guys enjoyed this live stream. Leave a like, subscribe, comment down what you see next. And like I said, I apologize if the servers are down. Um, but hopefully they do something about it soon. So I think later today I probably will stream another God Eater. I'll probably will stream the next part of God Eater 2 Rage Burst, even though that meant supposed to be for Tuesday and Sundays. But due to the fact that Sunday was Father's Day, I could have just done that instead. Anyway, if you liked, if you like streams like this, leave a like. If you want more stuff like this, subscribe and make sure you hit the bell notification to be notified of all upcoming live streams as well as videos. You can follow me on Instagram at Goddrifter247sun Production. You can follow me on Twitter at Jesus7S. And last but not least, you can check out and join Discord at Goddrifter247sun Production Museum. Anyway, without any further ado, hope you guys have a dope Monday. I'll see you guys later today. I'll see you guys next time. Let's see. Is that to sign off? I'll see you guys later today. Peace.